Hey everyone, so this week we are working on retelling stories using key details. So key details are usually the who, what, where, when, and why of a story. And they're really good things to add in if you're going to tell someone about a story, or let's say you watch a movie and you're trying to tell someone about your favorite movie. You would tell them about who's in the movie, what they did, what the problem was, sometimes the solution. I know we don't like to give the endings away, but it's the details that really were important in the story so that someone can get the point of what the story was about. So today we're going to be doing a lesson together by digging into a story. So I want you guys to notice that this story is written twice, because if we were to use it in class, it would have been cut in half. So we only need to read it once, unless you want to practice your fluency, of course. So Jill and Bill's hats. Jill and Bill's mom told them not to wear hats on a windy day. They didn't listen. They wore their hats to the woods, even though it was windy. Their hats flew away in the wind. They knew they were in trouble. Jill and Bill went running after their hats. They looked in the woods. They looked by the lake. They couldn't find their hats. Jill and Bill gave up and walked home. They had to tell their mom that their hats flew off. They knew they would listen to the rules next time. So what we're going to do today is we're going to color code. Now, here's the thing. If you don't have a printer, that makes it kind of hard to be able to highlight your work. And obviously, I know I don't have enough expo markers to write on my computer like I normally do. So what I did is I took a piece of paper and I put it into 6 sections, because we're going to be answering our 6 questions, and I'm going to use crayons to write. So what I'm going to do is look at my color code. So it says use your red crayon to highlight who the characters are. So I'm going to go back to my story. And who were my characters? Well, I'm looking at the title, and then I notice that in the story they keep repeating the same people. So I know that my main character is Jill and Bill, and it is in their red crayon. Jill and Bill. There I go. Okay. The next one says use your orange crayon to highlight what the setting is. So the setting is the place that the story took place. So let's see. Talked about they wore it in the woods. It was windy. They flew away. They looked in the woods. They looked by the lake. Uh-oh. So here's the thing. It talks about how they walked home. It talks about a lake. But most of the story took place, and where the problem happens and everything, all the good stuff happens, was in the woods. So I'm only going to put the main part, and that would be the woods in orange. So over here, I'm going to put the woods, because the main part of my story took place in the woods. We don't have to tell every single detail. We can say they looked around everywhere, but they lost it when they were in the woods. All right, next one we're looking for in yellow to highlight what happens in the beginning of the story. So that's kind of nice, because we can just look at the beginning. Well, what happened in the beginning? Uh-oh, their mom told them not to wear hats, and they did not listen. So with my yellow crayon, which is going to be hard to see, but it's okay, because as long as you're getting the detail out, that's what I care about. So they didn't listen to their mom. Oh, going over a little, that's okay. They didn't listen to their mom, and they wore their hats. So it kind of introduces our problem as well. Use your green crayon to highlight what happens at the end of the story. So now I'm going to go back to my story and just look at the end. They had to tell their mom that they couldn't find their hats. They knew they would have to listen to the rules next time. So again, we're looking at green. So let's think about that. That was a lot that happened. They couldn't find their hats. They had to tell their mom. So I guess I could restate it as they had to tell their mom they lost their hats. Oh man, writing with crayon is hard, but I like that it's all color coded. So I can still tell my characters, my setting, my beginning, and my end. So beginning, they didn't listen to their mom. Now they had to tell her that they lost their hats. All right, blue. Use your blue crayon to highlight the problem of the story. Well, the cool part is we already talked about the problem. What was the problem? Can you say it out loud? Oh, they lost their hats. So we're gonna come over here. They lost their hats. Okay, let's see. What was the lesson the character learns? So the lesson is a lot like the main idea that we've talked about in the past. So what lesson did they learn? Well, they knew they had to listen to the rules, right? They learned that not listening to mom didn't really help them. They lost their hats because of it. So they knew that they were gonna have to listen to the rules. I know that happens to me sometimes. Someone gives me a warning and I don't quite listen. Oops, I switched up my colors. Whoops, that's okay. So I'm gonna use blue. They knew they needed to listen. All right, oops, I made a mistake, but that's okay because I can still tell that we had a problem and we learned a lesson from our problem. We've talked about that in class too, huh? That sometimes we make mistakes, but did we learn from our mistakes is all that really matters. All right, you guys, so that's what we're gonna be focusing on this week. And I want you to practice at home. So if you watch a show, a TV show, after the show, tell mom and dad or brother and sister who the characters were, what the setting was. Oops, there we go. And so on. So tell them about the problem and if there was a lesson that was learned. Believe it or not, most stories have a lesson that you can learn from them. Think about like Sam I Am and the green eggs and ham. He learned that if he tried it, he might like it. All right, see you guys later.